Hello and welcome to Nerd Subculture. I'm your host Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And today we're starting our Buffy the Vampire series once more with Feeling. We are going to go through the whole seasons of Buffy, episode by episode, counting down and rating and, well, of course last week we did the movie, but now we're going to do the series.
Yes, so I am a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I have rewatched this show multiple times, but my husband here has never really been that interested in watching
I haven't. No, but I have seen Buffy. I know Buffy. I know where it all goes. I know the characters, but I've never sat down and watched episode by episode. And for some god-awful reason, we decided to do Buffy the Vampire series podcast.
Well, I figured it's the only way I'm ever going to get you to actually watch this series.
And I think it's working.
Yes. And so today's episode, pilot episode, welcome to the Hellmouth. This is episode 1 of season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And Jared will do the synopsis of the first episode.
All right, so let's get the synopsis out of the way. The series premiere begins at Sunnydale High School, where a boy breaks into the school during the night with a seemingly reluctant Darla, who reveals herself to be a vampire and bites him. Buffy Summers has a nightmare in the morning of her first day at school. Her mother, Joyce, drives her to the school and encourages her to think positive. Inside the building, the principal tells her she will start with a clean slate but reconsiders after realizing that Buffy burned down her previous school's gym. Buffy exits the office and bumps into a male student, spilling the contents of a handbag on the floor. Xander Harris sees this and helps Buffy repack, mainly to introduce himself to her. In history class, Buffy is helped by a popular girl Cordelia Chase, but is horrified when Cordelia humiliates an awkward Willow Rosenberg at the water fountain. Inside the library, Rupert Giles places a book titled Vampire in front of Buffy after recognizing who she is. A stunned Buffy makes a hasty exit. Buffy, Willow, Jesse, and Xander meet during a break. Cordelia appears and tells Buffy that the gym is cancelled due to the extreme dead guy in one of the students' gym locker. Buffy asks whether there were marks on the body, freaking out Cordelia. Buffy forces her way into the locker room, examines the body, and finds the characteristic puncture wounds of a vampire on the neck. Buffy returns to the library and confronts Giles, who informs her that he is her watcher. Buffy refuses to accept her calling as a Slayer since it had gotten her kicked out of her previous school and robbed her of a social life. After they leave the library, Xander emerges from behind the shelves, having overheard the strange conversation. That night, en route to her first visit to the Bronze, Buffy meets a mysterious stranger who warns her that she is living on a Hellmouth that is about to open and that the harvest is coming. In the Bronze, Buffy meets Willow and encourages her to seize the moment. Giles tells her she needs to learn to hone her skills as she should be able to sense vampires anywhere. Buffy uses her fashion sense to pick out a vampire in the club and is alarmed to see Willow leave with him. While Buffy looks for Willow, Jesse is seen chatting up Darla. Buffy is stopped by Xander, whom she convinces to help search for Willow. Meanwhile, under the streets of Sunnydale, the Master, an ancient and powerful vampire king, is woken by lesser vampires from a long sleep to prepare for the harvest. He sends Luke to fetch young blood. Willow's new acquaintance takes her to a crypt in the cemetery, where they are joined by Darla and Jesse. Buffy and Xander arrive. Buffy kills Willow's vampire. Xander and Willow help the weakened Jesse and flee. Luke surprises Buffy from behind, throws her in a stone coffin, and is about to move in for the kill. To be continued. Okay, so Eddie, what do we say about this episode?
Well, there is a lot going on in this episode. There is, right off the bat, you get the, you know what this show is going to be like. It you know, with the Darla, who is Julie Benz, and
probably more well known for playing Dexter's wife in the TV show Dexter.
That's what you know her as, but most people know her as Darla.
Really?
Yes.
She's still remembered as being Darla?
Yeah, well, yes.
I'm guessing she's a pretty important character in this series then, is she?
Probably not. She's probably more important in Angel.
Right. Oh, okay. So a long way to go then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But, you know, straight off the bat, you know, they subvert your expectations with the the little blonde girl that you think is in trouble.
Yeah, well, they do that thing where the girl hears something. Oh, what's that noise? And he's like, and the guy's like, no, it's probably nothing. And she's like, oh, good. Sinks her teeth into his neck. So,
yeah. So right up, pretty much subverting your expectations right off the bat.
Oh, and the guy was in CSI New York, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. You'll
the
find
guy. He has a name though. He's not called the guy.
Yeah, I have no idea what the actor's name is. You could look him up. But yeah, that sort of lets you know what this series is going to be like. Following on from the movie, she does have the prophetic dreams. That's probably the only thing really that follows on from the movie.
Oh yeah, she had the dreams. Does that continue on? Does that continue on in the series? The dreams?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so in the original script that Joss Whedon wrote for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, she burns down the gym to kill all the vampires at the dance.
So it's a soft nod to that in this episode.
Well, she doesn't do it. Yeah. So it pretty much rules out the movie as being canon by the fact that she burnt down the gym, because she doesn't do that in the movie. Yeah. So in this, there is also a lot of exposition, like a lot, and a lot of meeting characters. You meet Xander, you meet Principal Flutie, you meet Cordelia, you meet Willow, you meet Jesse, and you meet Giles. You also notice Buffy decides to not be a Cordelia. Like you see her make the decision not to be like Cordelia anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I just found the name of that guy from CSI, and I'm going to butcher his name here. Carmine Giovannazzo. I found it.
Okay. This is also the episode that you learn that the Hellmouth is under the school.
So is that a common thing that comes up throughout the series, the Hellmouth?
It comes up constantly because every demon's trying to open the Hellmouth.
So what do I ask what the Hellmouth is, or do I find out? Should I wait? Is that a bit of a spoiler?
Well, no. Well, the Hellmouth, it just generally draws evil beings to Sunnydale. It just means that there's a lot more of an evil presence in Sunnydale than the rest of the world, so to speak. It's not your typical small town.
Right.
We meet the mystery man, David Boreanaz.
Yes, I wonder who he is.
But we have no idea who he is yet.
We don't even know he's a vampire yet, do we?
No, you don't know that. And don't spoil people.
Spoiler!
I did actually listen to a podcast where they did no spoilers. People hadn't actually watched the show.
Right, okay.
And some people were actually surprised to learn that he was a vampire.
Right, okay. Wow, They really knew nothing. Okay.
They knew nothing. And I was like, I don't know how that was possible, but, he had his own show. So we also get, our set pieces, and the bronze is a major set piece for this show. So the bronze appears a lot in the show. It's pretty much where they advertise all the bands. It's how they get their Buffy the Vampire Slayer soundtrack off the ground. Yeah, so, and I think they were on the CW, so it's one of those, like Charmed, when they brought in the pit, I was about to say the Peach Pit After Dark, P3.
The what? Sorry, say that again?
So Peach Pit After Dark, it was from 90210, and it was so that they could play bands and stuff on the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no idea what that was.
Oh, okay. So, and then, Charm did it with P3, where they could so that they could have bands play on the show.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was amazing, this little club in Sunnydale, like what bands that they could get playing at, this little crappy town. So, this little dive bar, pretty much. Yeah, and so we've got the school, which is that Torrens High School, which is in every single high school based TV series ever.
What? It's the same school they use for all TV shows, is it?
Oh, it's used for a lot of. So it was used for 90210.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was heaps and heaps of shows that have used that school.
Interesting.
Yeah, you will occasionally see it popping up.
I'll have to remember that now.
Okay. So, Jared, what were your first impressions of the show?
Well, as I said, I'm not a huge fan. And, well, where do I start? I kind of feel that moment where Buffy and Willow were talking and Willow's just sort of rambling on. I'm like, oh my God, I've got a lot more episodes to go. I think I felt like Donald Sutherland right then and there. That, he just didn't want to be here. Like, oh my God, this is going to be a long podcast. So, there was that. I mean, it wasn't, I didn't hate it, but that was the one that made me think, oh, fuck, why did I pick this?
Yeah. I was going to ask, why have you never watched it?
I think I just find it really cheesy, to be honest. I know it's kind of meant to be cheesy, but I just a bit of a cringe factor with it sometimes when I watched it. Maybe it gets a little better later on. I think that's one of those things where you just made your mind up. You're not going to watch it. You're just not going to watch it, and you're just not going to enjoy it. And I think I'm in that stubborn mind. I'm just sitting there with arms crossed. I got to watch Buffy. But I don't know. As I think you kind of said, this was the first season's a bit of a tough draw.
It is. The first season is very tough to get through, and it is trying to find itself. So it is, monster of the week episodes. And there are some really, really, really cheesy episodes in the first season. Definitely. Yeah. It's definitely going to be, I have a feeling I've got my work cut out for me.
I think you have, Eddie. Can you convince me this is the greatest show ever?
But let's just say midway through season 2, it gets much, much better.
Right. Okay.
It does get better.
All right. Well, we've done one episode. Feels like a marathon.
Well, look, the whole, the metaphor for this show is high school is hell. And it's a little obvious. So that's what we're working with here. Anyway, I have a series of questions that I'm going to ask you.
So is this going to be the same questions you're going to ask me each week?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So maybe I should have taken notes or something.
Yes, maybe you should have. So, which character was your favorite?
I like that Luke guy.
And the big brutish guy from the X-Files.
Yeah, that guy. That guy's in everything. He always plays a villain quite well. And he's got that unforgettable face on him too. When you see that guy, like, oh, that's that guy, Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. Of course, his name isn't Shao Kahn. It's Brian Thompson. Not quite Shao Kahn. Apparently, he was in the Terminator.
Okay.
As a punk.
Okay.
That's what he's cast as a punk. Obviously the hitman from, or the body, was he a hitman or a bounty hunter sort of what creature guy from X-Files? Alien bounty hunter is what he's cast as.
I thought he was a super soldier.
Alien bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter.
That's what they've cast him as.
Oh yeah, he goes around stabbing people in the back of the neck.
Oh, he did a voice in Soldier of Fortune, the video game. Soldier of Fortune 1, that is. Did he do Soldier of Fortune 2? No, it doesn't look like it.
So you found him to be a bit of a menacing character in this, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. You have the villain who's just kind of standing there pontificating everything, but he's actually getting his hands dirty and running around and beating the shit out of women. Or slayers to be precise. But he.
Okay. Which character are you hating?
Oh God, this is such an easy question. Willow. Oh my God, I can't stand Willow. It's probably the one thing that put me off watching the show was her fumbling and mumbling and the insecurity. Is like, I just can't stand that character trope in TV shows or movies. I find it annoying. It's like, oh, you're the nervous, awkward person who talks too much and then rambles on. And as I said before, that moment when her and Buffy are in the club and she's rambling on, that's that epiphany moment. I'm like, my God, what have I put myself into?
Well, there goes all of our listeners.
Yeah.
Even though we probably don't have that many listeners, they all just left.
Yeah.
They all just stopped listening.
We got 2 listeners?
All of our listeners just went, well, that's it. No, not dealing with this. They're just he's wrong, and I'm going to unsubscribe and not listen to this podcast anymore. Yeah, Willow's one of my favorites. As you know, we have a dog named Willow, by the way.
Yes. Where is she?
As she is actually my favorite character. What was the most memorable fight scene?
I guess the fight scene between Buffy and Luke in the crypt.
Okay, yeah.
Was probably the most memorable, I guess.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't that fantastic, but it's the one I remember the most, I think.
Yeah, I actually like the one between Buffy and Angel where she's like doing the handstand in the alleyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Showing off her gymnastics.
Yes.
Does she do that a lot?
No, I don't think you see her do
That's
that
ever again.
You never see her do that ever again.
That was almost a bit of a play on the film as well, because she was doing a lot of gymnastics in that as well. Yeah, she's doing a bit of the backflips and stuff.
Yeah. Who steals the episode?
Oh, it's got to be Luke. Brian Johnson, was it? Brian Thompson.
Yeah, and I think the lore of this with the vampires in this is that the older the vampire is, they keep their bumpy face.
Oh yeah, he had his bumpy face the whole time. I noticed that. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I didn't notice that because he's got such an ugly mug. He's got such a weird looking face. He's got makeup on.
It is weird. Like he also didn't have that thing. Like a lot of the vampires struggle to talk through the vampire teeth, so you hear them lisp quite a lot.
Mm.
But yeah, he didn't have any issues because I don't think he just has that low grumble.
You can't really notice it. Yeah,
he doesn't really use, or he has big teeth to begin with. He doesn't really notice it. All right. What was your favorite scene?
Oh, I guess the opening scene was probably my favorite scene. The subverting your expectations. The guy not being the perpetrator and the woman being the perpetrator in that instance. That got me a little bit.
Or normally the couple gets...
Well, yeah, or both the couple get killed by something.
The couple gets killed by something.
But you'd never suspect the girl was going to be the perpetrator. Yeah, the monster.
The monster. Least favourite scene?
I guess it's that same one again, Buffy and Willow.
Seize the day.
Seize the day,
Seize the day.
Yes.
And when I talk to boys and I babble and I can't get words out and then it turns into soup. And I think guys like girls who can talk.
All right, okay. I know we're doing a podcast, but if we're doing a video, you could see me rolling my eyes right now. I just don't get it. I don't find the appeal. I don't find it funny. I just sit there and roll my eyes. I'm like, just shut up.
She's so sweet, though.
Of course she's sweet, but I just don't want that character in a show. All right, I just can't stand it. People aren't like that.
Okay.
Ugh.
All right. And what would have been your favorite quote?
My favorite quotes. My favorite quote would probably have to be the Cordelia extreme dead guy in the locker room.
In the locker.
Yeah. Oh, in the locker, yeah. Because it was an extreme dead guy. As opposed to a regular dead guy.
Actually.
Because you can handle those, but extreme dead guy, I'm out of here.
Actually, my favorite quote is also a Cordelia one, and it's when Buffy attacks her in the bronze. And she's just like, what's your childhood trauma? What's your childhood trauma? I can't quite do it with that sneering Cordelia voice.
Yeah, she's very sneering in this, isn't she?
Oh, yeah, she's very...
I actually like Cordelia more than Buffy. Can I say that?
Yeah. Cordelia is also a fan favorite. She's like they play her out to be the bully, the bad what do you call it? The mean girl. So she's the mean girl in the first season.
Yeah.
But yeah, she does get she's one of the characters that has the most amazing character development in the entire series.
Well, she starts off really vain and full of herself, but then becomes basically a completely different character in the end, I'm guessing.
She becomes like Buffy, where she kind of learns that there's a bit more to life than clothing.
Clothing and shopping.
Okay, and now what do you rate this episode out of 10? And it's got to be something from within the episode.
Okay, so we haven't really picked anything yet, so I guess maybe stakes probably seem the fitting fitting number to do. So out of 10 stakes, are we saying out of 10 stakes?
Out of 10, yep.
Okay, so I would rate it, I guess I would give it a 3. A 3 out of 10. I'm a pretty harsh judge here.
Yeah, all right. Well, I know where this heads. I think I've got a bit of nostalgia also on my side here. Again. Yeah. I would probably go 6 tiny little fences.
Tiny
little fences.
Oh, okay, right, yes.
A line that Xander says.
Yeah.
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 So.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No.
The pilot, the first episode?
Yeah. So, there is also an unaired pilot.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there's a different actress that plays.
Oh, who was it?
I have no idea. But she's like slightly chubby.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So got to get rid of that.
Oh, yeah, can't have that.
God forbid she's not a size 0.
Yes, heaven forbid, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's cue it up. Oh, that's not the cue button. I changed it. It was this one. Okay, well, I think that wraps it up for this week.
Yes, it does. So we are Nerd Subculture.
Are we? Nerd Subculture, that's who we are. Like, subscribe, smash that subscribe button. Yeah. What else do you do? Share.
You leave a review.
A review,
but
a comment.
only leave a good one.
Only good reviews, no bad reviews.
Only leave good reviews.
Yeah. A Patreon. Haven't got a Patreon. I don't know. Give us money anyway. Take care. See ya.
Bye. Grr.